Dragon Ball Z, the Japanese franchise whose popularity exploded in the West years ago, and still to this day has been able to amaze fans with its battles, characters, and of course screaming. The manga debuted in 1989 and was really popular in Japan, but it wasn't until the anime released later on that it became more well known, and after numerous failed attempts,
I want to caress them.
Funimation and Toonami were able to bring the anime to children's TVs after school every day in the 90s and 2000s. This then kick-started the enormous growth of Dragon Ball as a franchise in the West, and even now with the DBZ anime pretty much over, they still gave fans plenty of extra content, such as re-releases, video games, fan projects, and of course plenty of memes. Also a quick side note, there are so many things to this one fandom that I won't be able to cover everything in this video. I mean, it is in a nutshell for a reason. Anyway, let's take a look at the key notable scenes from the anime that the fans latched onto. Oh, the exact number of these scenes? Well, I think it was...
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
Yes, possibly the most notable meme to ever come out from the franchise. Born in the day of low-quality JPEG memes, and all had to do with a certain power level. It started out as an in-joke from a YouTuber, which then spread throughout the site and 4chan, who of course had some fun with it. Now, if you ever were wondering why the internet was so happy to accept the posing JoJo memes, it might have only taken off because they were first popular with the Ginyu Force meme pose after its episode aired. A very campy and over-the-top moment, with now hundreds of fan art and cosplay imitating it. And the pose, of course, somehow made its way into other media. Yamcha, oh Yamcha, how the mighty have fallen. Yes, the Yamcha death pose, now synonymous with a character being weak, which then of course has tons of artists memeing other characters onto it. But now you too can also imitate the pose just like the world's strongest hero. Although to the delight of Yamcha fans, he was able to get his revenge 20 years later. So going back, the fandom for Dragon Ball Z actually started in the mid-90s with the Ocean dub. One that cut content, had different songs, had a whole lot of different voice actors.
If I were you guys, I'd leave this planet.
Well, at least it wasn't as odd as the Big Green dub. Due to many issues, the Ocean dub wasn't able to continue, and Funimation proceeded with their in-house voice work from season 3 onwards. Although this had less censoring than before, there was still some, interesting choices in dialogue.
That's right, boys. Mondo-ku.
Now these were the voices that the kids grew up with, but there was no real feasible way for fans to access the Japanese voices. But now with everyone and their mother on the World Wide Web, you will literally find thousands of discussions of people politely debating whether the English or Japanese voices are better. And even to this day, that polite argument doesn't seem to be ending. Now, since the anime was so successful, of course they would pump out video games for the fans. And well, a lot of the early ones weren't that great. But that all changed with the fighting games, starting with Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Now these games were huge for the franchise, as kids everywhere could now go over to a friend's house to beat each other up in the game, and not at school. Although, I mean, it still was pretty common. The game developers saw this love from the fandom for these games and made numerous sequels and iterations. And yes, there is one for the Wii, complete with motion controls. After this, however, as the fans grew up, the style of games changed with the release of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and the fandom's interest in the game slowly dwindled. Xenoverse did bring some life back into this scene, but it was nothing compared to the huge success of Dragon Ball FighterZ. The game was able to imitate the anime art style to an astounding degree, and the fans went wild for it. Thousands of people play the game, it has a huge competitive scene, and created a new waifu for everyone. Yes, you know the one, the only NBA All-Star Android 16. And of course, if your popular franchise gets video games, it's gonna get a Hollywood live-action film. Man, did the fandom sure despise this. And not just them, even non-Dragon Ball fans who saw this movie were absolutely appalled at how terrible it was. Fans everywhere begged others to never watch it and purge its memory from their minds. I mean, even on YouTube there are more well-made fan films. It was the movie that almost killed the franchise's potential, and one that fans will always try to forget with all of their might. So of course, in a series such as Dragon Ball Z, while you had a live-action movie, you also had numerous other animated movies from Japan. Now, while a lot of them aren't considered canon, they did introduce one character called Broly. And I guess the most surprising thing about this was just how huge, literally, his popularity was with the fans. A lot of people loved him, but a lot of others hated him. And still to this day, with his inclusion in Fighters, and with another movie, his swole muscles can still generate some form of hype amongst the fans. Now, while Dragon Ball Z enjoyed plenty of official spin-offs and such, fans would still go and create their own parodies, be it animation or live action. But the most popular one to come out from this was, of course, Team 4 Star's Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Starting with the growing popularity of Abridged shows at the time on YouTube, their hilarious take on Dragon Ball Z was able to bring old and new fans to the series in a time when the official means were struggling. I mean, what do you expect with a show that garners at least 1 million views per episode? When they manage to stay online, that is. And even though they themselves created many memes and an entire fan base separate from DBZ, they still help populate the meme of Krillin dying a whole lot.
Wow, they're cute together.
Wow, they are cute together.
Now, of course, Dragon Ball was and is still immensely popular.
Loved Dragon Ball Z.
I don't know what that is.
You dirty little liar. I mean, this is the show that had more teenage viewers than primetime Simpsons during its debut in 2002. So it's no surprise that years afterwards, all of the kids are now grown up and they still remember their love for Dragon Ball Z. And well, some of these kids became famous. Yes, you have athletes, teams, actors, and of course musicians. All huge fans of Dragon Ball Z. But of course, hidden from the spotlight are regular everyday fans who hide their power levels for days on end, only for their true form to be revealed in a burst of Super Saiyan energy. And at first would start out with small edits, but over time, any memeable video or gif that had a person screaming, you better believe that somebody edited a Super Saiyan transformation on the top. But let's all never forget the true original Super Saiyan. However, not everyone has that hidden ability, so they create their own OCs. Yes, in a move that rivals the level of Sonic original characters, fans wanted more after the end of DBZ, and would create their own versions of Super Saiyan levels from Super Saiyan 5 all the way up to, well, I don't know, since all you do is type in a number after Super Saiyan and you'll find someone's OC. This is just a good reminder that this franchise was really popular in the mid-2000s, just in case you, forgot. But then there are fans with no artistic drive, instead look to define Goku as the strongest character in existence. But wait a minute, Superman is the most powerful being in the universe. Ah dear, not this again. What can be dated back to a comic spread in 2002 started so many heated debates whether or not Goku is stronger than Superman. Cue the endless forum posts and videos which get millions of views, but always with a hefty dislike bar. And then of course you have the newer discussions of whether or not Goku is stronger than some other character. But in the end, Goku will always be defeated by some really good Photoshop characters. And well, with Smash Ultimate right around the corner, it once again sparked up another debate of whether or not Goku should be in Smash. Now some people take this as a meme like with Shrek, but there are people out there who truly believe that Goku should be in Smash. But of course, with negotiations and licensing being a nightmare, he probably will never make it in. Oh look, it's Goku's third son. Yeah, I got nothing to say on this. And of course the YouTube fans, who will comment the numerous phrases from the series. Then you have the animations, which can often have a staggering amount of views per video. And not to mention the amount of musical edits that were made from the blonde dude screaming. And the AMVs, oh my goodness, there are so many. Then you have the videos debating who is stronger, the fan theories, what is considered canon or not, and the hundreds and thousands of views on videos in other languages. And that was all I could fit into this very short video about the Dragon Ball Z fandom. The fandom that started all the way back in the 90s has shown no signs of slowing down. And while most fans will move on to the newer series, countless other media will still want to use the Z setting to bring the fans right back. Whether you're drawing your epic Super Saiyan OC or arguing about who's the strongest, the fandom will always have something for you to enjoy. I rate this fandom a 9001.
What 9,000?
Out of 10. And as to the fandom's future, although the show might have ended years ago, there will always be new things to discuss, and judging from its hype, it seems most fans have jumped onto the next series. Yes, the one that starts out with the purple, furless cat.
What's this? Is that a new challenger for Goku? Who is this mysterious purple cat? And what's with the sail on blue hair dye? And will Krillin ever stop blowing up?
Yes.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball Fandom in a Nutshell.